Home staging isn't worth the cost. It only works on high-end multi-million-dollar properties. It's not necessary in a hot market, and buyers want to see empty rooms. These are some of the myths that we're busting. Sorry, Jake, for making you pose for that picture. In episode 226 of Foxy TV. We have 8 myths in total. Let's jump straight in.
All right, so high-end properties come with the expectation of having styling done. For us, we see the biggest return on investment happen in a smaller property. The smaller the property, the bigger the return on investment as far as styling goes. A 1-bedroom unit, you're spending about $2,300 on the styling. What that does, it makes it look bigger, it makes it look more inviting, it makes it look more contemporary, and it gets more people into that property. And we are having 1-bedroom units in Brisbane sell at the moment after 1 weekend, seeing a return on investment of between 10 to 15% on what they're putting in. The bigger the property, the more the styling is going to cost, the lower the return on investment. Okay, that one couldn't be a bigger myth as far as we are concerned. We are not here to make a house look pretty. We are not interior decorators. We're not here to come and make your visions come to life. We are here to make a marketable product. The difference is making your home appeal to as many people so that we can get those emotions playing in. It's not the same as getting your favorite red and black interiors all the way through the home. It's about getting and highlighting as many of the features of the home, as well as distracting from as many of the weaknesses. There is a whole different element that we play with when it comes to property styling compared to interior decorating.
I guess the idea that you could do the staging yourself and you don't need to pay a professional staging company to come and do it, I actually think that's true. I think there's an element of that in certain situations where if you have the time, if you have the interest and maybe some sort of experience or an eye for design, the cost point of view, if there's you don't have the time to do it or the money to do it, maybe there is some element that you can still get the benefit of staging by doing it yourself. I think it's like anything. I guess if you think about what you do in your home, your painting or your landscaping or any of those sorts of things, same sort of answer. You can do it yourself, but do you have the time to do it? Are you going to get the same job that you would if you had paid a professional? And from a cost and benefit sort of weighing those two things up against each other, are you going to get a better result for paying a professional? So I think you absolutely can do it yourself. I think it's probably one of those things where it's not always the best idea to do it yourself.
That depends on the stylist you go with. So for us, that is definitely a myth. We are in the market of doing vacant homes as well as integrated. Integrated means that someone's living in that property. We will use as much of a client's furniture as we can, only hiring what we need to enable us to make that marketable product at a level that the agent and the market is expecting for that home to be presented at. The difference is we have the insurance levels to be able to provide that. We have the upholstery, cleaning services, all those sorts of things in the background to allow that to happen. Definitely not only for vacant properties. The one myth that might be in there is that tenanted properties, it's not for tenanted properties, and that's because there's no monetary connection to tenanted properties. Honestly, that comes from, I have the biggest issues with these conversations with accountants of all people. So seeing the potential value in the potential that we can bring for the potential return on investment. I think that's where some clients become unstuck. If we can show you that by spending $2,300 on a property to get it styled, to then have the same level of marketing, to say the same level of commission to the agent, and what the result is going to be is you're going to get an extra $30,000 to $50,000 in your pocket, why wouldn't you go for that?
There's this thought out there that in a hot market where property's moving quickly, it really is a seller's market that you don't need to stage because you're not going to get the extra benefits. I think it's a case of if you might not feel like you're going to need the staging as much to get a result, and that's true in a hot market. Your property will likely sell anyway, and obviously there's a whole lot of factors, but if it's going to sell anyway, why would you go through the process of staging and paying for that? I think the answer comes down to return, and even though you might get a better outcome in a hot market than a colder one, are you going to get the best result that you could have? And I think that's where staging comes in. So no matter the market, if it's a hot market, you can still get a better result through staging. You can still stand out from those other properties on your street or in your area that you're going to be compared to. I think that one really is a myth, and we see every day that no matter the market, there is always a benefit to staging.
I don't know the number. It's like 90% of people can't imagine a space filled with furniture. So if you can't imagine how a space is going to look with furniture in it, how can you possibly justify paying premium prices for a home that you can't possibly visualize yourself living in? You're not going to have an emotional connection to that home. There is no reason for you to have a fear of missing out because you just don't have that connection to the property. Empty spaces. When you have a virtually styled property and walk into an empty space, there's nothing more disappointing. There's nothing more misleading. If you have a look at an empty space online, there is nothing more that you're going to scroll straight past from, or think that you've got a negotiating tactic there because they haven't done everything that they can get to the market. An empty space has far more negotiating power for a potential buyer than what you realise. Oh, that's a tricky one. Depends on your agent. So we've got a couple now who've gone for a soft launch. Soft launch is something that used to be a thing, less of a thing. A soft launch is where they go to the market without actively marketing it on all of your internet portals, all those sorts of things. They go as is. We're all about first impression. So obviously you're negating that first impression. But I guess you're testing the market, trying to test out where that price bracket feels. We style it, we then up the price by $50,000. So that's where the styling can come in. The other part is by going for the totally fresh new look on a campaign. We've got a property at the moment. They had an awesome offer that came in. They didn't accept it. Murphy's Law, second offer is always lower, and it's nowhere near what that first offer was. So we're coming in. They're going for a fresh new marketing tactic. They have changed agents. We're going to style the property, and they're hoping to get what was that initial offer where they haven't been able to get anywhere near, or even have people through the open home.
There you have it. 8 home staging myths busted, or at least partially busted. Thank you to Phoebe and Jake for running us through those. We have some great episodes coming up, so make sure you stay tuned for those in coming weeks. Now, if you missed it yesterday, I think by the time this comes out, the Australian Home Staging Conference 2024, the website went live and tickets are now for sale. It's being held in Brisbane, Australia on February 23 and 24, 2024 at Ridges Hotel in Southbank, which is a great location. You're going to love it. So the tickets that are now on sale, it's early bird pricing. So those prices of the tickets will increase at a later date. Head to AHS, Australian Home Staging. Let me get this right. www.ahsconference.com.au. I'll put the text here if I've got it wrong. That's the text, and I'll also put the link in the description of this video. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. See you next week.